Peace. I come in the righteous name of Emir X, and today I'm going to be building on today's degrees. What's today's degree? Today's degree is knowledge, wisdom, number one, meaning knowledge. Number one, knowledge is the foundation of all things in existence. Knowledge is the nose, which is the sun, is the foundation of the solar system. That the Asiatic black man is a foundation of his family. Knowledge is to look, listen, and observe. Knowledge is the first step towards righteousness. Number two, wisdom. Wisdom is the wise words spoken by the wise man. Wisdom is a manifestation of foundation, which is the knowledge. Right? And and how do I see today's mathematics? What does it show to us? Right? Because everything I say goes for me as well. Because I'm just your brother. I'm the same as you. And what I say goes for me as well also. But today's mathematics shows us to be quick to listen and slow to speak. But how so? Right? And why? Right? Today's mathematics shows us to be, I'll say it again, it shows you to be quick to listen and slow to speak. But why is this important? Right? And why? And what does that mean? Right? I'll say what it means. And I'll show and prove my understanding. Right? We have to be, today's mathematics shows us to take our time in gathering our information. Take your time gathering your information so it's brought forth from that information will be right and exact and properly done and thoroughly done. Right? Do your due diligence and qualify yourself, right? Just like as if we must qualify ourselves to speak. But take your time in gathering your information so that it can be properly done and it can be thoroughly done. Just like a loaf of bread. Bake your bread 2 or 3 times and let it sit out for 2 or 3 days to dry out and bake all the way through so that it don't rise again inside your stomach and cause your stomach to buckle and wear down on your stomach and wear down on its digesting powers, thus causing a short life, and a quick death, right? But this is what today's degree shows to you, right? Take your time in gathering your information and collecting it so that what's brought forth from that information is thoroughly done and proper and right and exact, right? And what comes forth from that information which you took time to gather, right? What comes forth from doing these things, what comes forth from it is the best part, which is the understanding, right? We blessed with the clear mental picture and we blessed with the best part, which is the understanding, right? That's what comes forth when you're slow to intake your information, right? Slow gathering information, slow putting these things together, or not slow, but rather thorough in doing it, right? Making sure you're taking your time to do these things, not rushing it, not trying to take no shortcuts. You don't take shortcuts. We have to do our hard work, right? But that's how I see today's mathematics. Now, how do I see today's supreme alphabet? Today's supreme alphabet is number 12. The 12th degree in the supreme alphabet is number 12. L, love, hello, right. Love is the highest elevation of understanding. Hell is the trick knowledge. Right is to be exact. Right? No, some people may say, well, you gotta go through hell in order to find out what's right. That's not always true. It can be true, and sometimes it's true. But, right? You see all the time today, you see all these relationships, they ain't going nowhere, they failing, they're not producing anything, and there's nothing but a whole bunch of fuckery going on, right? Now, what is this? It's because they're not in love. They basis of their relationship isn't because they took their time and took their time gathering information, looked, listened, and observed, and did something proper with that information. No, they ain't planning nothing out, they ain't think nothing out. The basis of it, they not in love, they in lust. The basis of the money is money, or the basis of the relationship is money. The basis of the relationship is this, that, right? Nothing pure and nothing true, and that's the trick knowledge. So they in hell. That's why you see a whole bunch of problems coming forth from this. You see they have children running around everywhere. They're not showing their children no good examples, right? They fighting against each other, not producing nothing but a whole bunch of foolishness and troublemaking, right? That's what you see today. Now, love, hell, or right. Love is a highest elevation of understanding. Hell is the trick knowledge, right? Because my physical mother is a weak white devil and tries to say the trick knowledge that, oh, I love you. But I know because of not only your nature, by nature you can't love me, but also your ways and your actions show and prove you to also be a devil. So that equality is being brought forth, right? So that's not hell, or that's not love. That's the trick knowledge, right? Your nature tell you to lie and to try to go and mix up with the original man, spot up their blood, making children with their skin spotted up and all that stuff, right? Trying to trick them and trying to keep them and pull them into hell, because they know that she know that's where they going, right? So they can take the children with them. They can try to make the children be confused and put the confusion in your mind. You ain't gonna have no confusion, right? Or you ain't gonna have no peace of mind dealing with the colored man, trying to love him, because to love him, that's to hate yourself. So when you love the white man, that's the trick knowledge. That's not love, that's hell. That's getting your head beat in. That's that's not having no healthy food. That's having your water tampered with. All these different things that we see, right? So that's not love. That's hell. So sometimes whenever you go through these situations, because everybody finna go through hell one way or another, because we weren't born righteous. We was born right and reared by the devil, right? So we was found victim to them. We was a slave, but so at whatever point or another, we come from that. Or just like how someone might come from a relationship they was in, the basis wasn't nothing, wasn't no understanding, wasn't none of that stuff. So it went awry, a whole bunch of stuff. But if you if you take your time and reflect, right? You take your time in gathering your information and making a judgment call. What you can bring forth from the information is the understanding. So you leave a bad situation, but you turn it into a teachable moment in a learning situation, right? And you inform yourself. And now, guess what you've done, right? You've learned from your own mistakes, but going forward, you can carry and present yourself in a correct way. And now you can also be quick and slow to approach these things, because you got the understanding. And now, since you already had the understanding once, you've adapted and equipped your mind to go out and always be prepared and always handle yourself in a fashion to get a true understanding. Not just taking things on face value, but manifesting them and drawing them up, right? Meaning doing your own research and actually letting the 5% teach you teach you how and give you the understanding, instead of taking what the 10% say on face value, what the devil say on face value. Don't do none of that stuff, right? Now, that's love, hella right. And also, you're going to learn how to look, listen, observe. So since you take your time gathering these things and you're looking in all areas, right? Now you study other people and you watch other people, right? You're not quick to just go out and judge somebody. You're not going to speak about someone, because guess what? You got to worry about your own low down actions, right? So look, don't speak first. Look and listen before you speak. And when you study other people, you can learn from their mistakes, so you know not to make them for your own self. And if you're looking at your brother's mistakes, you can go and help them after you've helped yourself. So look and be like, I can't do that. Don't go out here saying, oh, don't do this, don't do that, and then go out and do it because you didn't take your time. We can't do that. That's not right and exact. So before we go out trying to judge someone, trying to worry about what someone else is doing, look, mind your own business, right? And look, listen, observe. Shut your mouth. We have to shut our mouth, right? Right? Before we look like like a fool and like a dumbass and shit like that. Right? Shut your mouth and look. And when you study other people, you learn from their mistakes, that you avoid them and don't make them for yourself. And now you've lived it out. So you can't be no hypocrite. You protecting yourself. Right? And now you can help protect everyone else by teaching them that. Because you not only tried it and tested it, and you thoroughly done it, so you know it's right and exact. Right? And when you keep the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, which was taught to him by the most honorable Master W.D. Farad Muhammad, right? Who's a messenger, who's Allah in a person. And honorable Elijah Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, the only messenger of Allah, and Allah's greatest prophet and apostle, right? When you follow these teachings, keep it word for word, right and exact. Don't add to them. Don't take away nothing from them. We'll be successful in our undertakings, right? And this is what it tells us to do. Right? Now let's go into the 120. Now, what's the knowledge and wisdom degree of the 120? That's number one. Who is the colored man? Right? The color, no, part itself. That's number one. Who is the original man? The original man is the Asiatic black man, the supreme being, right? Number one, who's the original man? The original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, the father of civilization, and God of the universe. Number two, who is the color man? The color man is a Caucasian man, white man, a Yaku's grafted devil, skunk of the planet Earth, right? And when we study these things, it shows you we need a knowledge of our own selves. Go to the 5% and get the knowledge of your own self. Learn the knowledge and wisdom of the human family of the planet Earth, right? Take what comes from your brothers and your sisters, right? Take what comes from your brothers, right? Who's using the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Take these things, because guess what these things do? They not tell you to take it on face value. They teach you these things, right? Being taught, right? And they also give us an understanding. So we're taught that, and it brings you to an understanding, right? Which come these teachings of self, these teachings of the Asiatic black man, these teachings, the knowledge, wisdom, understanding, which was brought to us by Master W.D. Farad Muhammad, right? Which was taught to us through his messenger, which he taught night and day, right? So take these things, right? Don't take what comes from the colored man. Don't take his words. Because when we taught, and we also taught to understand, we taught the history and the things that have already came to pass, right? And the things that are coming to pass. And day by day, they come into pass if you look and you study them and you look at it. So now it teaches you the history, and a very recent history. If you look back just a few days ago, a few weeks ago, a few months ago, years ago, a few decades ago, you see all these things was prophesied and they all come to pass, right? In the day and day, they come into pass, right? So it's teaching you and showing you, proving to you, and it's teaching you the science of the universe, right? It's teaching you these things and equipping your mind and improving yourself, right? Self-improvement, right? Right? So knowledge, wisdom. The knowledge and wisdom, who is a colored man, right? Go to your brothers and sisters who had knowledge of self. Go to your brothers and sisters who had the truth. Who had the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, word for word, right and exact. Don't add to them, don't take away none from them. Our praise is due to Allah, right? Go to these things. Go to the people, your own people, the original man, whose actions is that of his nature, right? And let the 5% teach you instead of taking what the 10% or these devils say on face value. Let us teach you these things, give you a correct understanding. Because not us giving you understanding, it's the understanding which was given to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the correct way to see them. He was the only one who was able to recognize Allah in person, right? That also goes in 1 and 2. There's only 1 and 2, knowledge and wisdom. There's only 1 and 2. The most honorable Master W.D. Farad Muhammad, to whom our praise is due forever. That's number 1. And there's number 2, the honorable the honorable Elijah Muhammad. There was no others. They don't try to say, oh, there's a 3, there's a this, there's a that. No one traveled the 9,000 miles, right, in search of the lost member of the tribe of Shabazz and so-called American Negro. And there's also no one who was taught by messenger of Allah, God in person, the Master W.D. Farad Muhammad, who's the Savior, who's the Son of Man, who's Mahdi, right? No one was taught by him night and day for 3 years straight, right? He said he was learning so much. It was similar. It was like prison in the sense that when you in prison all day. Y'all 24 hours of the day. You don't leave prison. You don't go home at the end of the day. You in prison all that time. So he said it was like prison because night and day he was learning and being taught these things and being qualified. Because as it was prophesied before he was even born that he would be the messenger of Allah, right? He would do these things. And he was the only one who qualified himself. And then for nearly 50 years, he spent teaching. He spent making knowledge born. He spent going to the original man, making knowledge born, teaching for nearly 50 years and raising up the mentally dead so-called American Negro and putting ourselves right on our feet, on our square, our 24,896 miles, right? Putting us on our square, right? Teaching us who writes these time histories which all come to pass, the 24 scientists, square number, right? Trying to beat the predictions of the prophets of old, saying only 24,000 would make it in the world of complete righteousness. Taking that square number and using the foundation to uphold even more than that, right? Now, that's how I see the knowledge and wisdom degree, right? And that's just a little build on that. Now let's go to the next degree in 120. That's what's the knowledge and what's the knowledge wisdom degree in the or 12th degree in the 1 through 14. That's number 12. What's the meaning of FOI? Answer: the fruit of Islam. This was a name given to the military training of the men that belonged to Islam in North America. Now, what's FOI? Right? That's the fruit of Islam. Whenever you go into the earth and you plant a seed, right, and that seed grow, right, you plant a tree, a bush, a shrub, right, and the fruit that comes forth from it, right, that fruit, that's the best part. That's the understanding, right? That's your insurance, right? But it's also the fruit. What's that fruit used for? You can feed the women, and the children, right? You can feed the people. You can nourish yourself, and you can also replenish your mind mentally as well as physically. You mentally nourish and physically nourish. Because what does the vitamins do? You eat a healthy fruit that ain't been stripped of its vitamins, like how the devils be stripping them and preserving them to try to, because the source of our medication is vegetation. So we strip your fruits and vegetables, leaving them bare. So now you're not replenished with what you need. So now you go to him and you get his pills and shit like that, right? But going back to these things, you eat your fruit. The fruit has vitamins, right? The vitamins go inside your cells and provide your cells with the proper vitamins, right? And they also get rid of the free radicals. Now, since your cells are not drained of your vitamins, it don't have to suck your brain power and suck the vitamins from your brain. Now your mental is boosted because you eating the right food, but you're always eating the right food at the right times. You taking breaks from eating food, fasting for 2 or 3 days, letting your blood get cleaned out, right? Eat only 1 meal a day. Getting your spiritual food before your physical food, because without any food, your brain is elevated. It's not devoting your brain power to your stomach to digest things. It's at full force. So we have to study our lessons with sincerity, and we'll get the best understanding. Before I made this video, I studied my lessons. I have not ate yet. I only drink water. I only drink tea. I only have some black seed oils mixed with honey, right? I don't even need those. You don't even have to drink water. You can wake up and you can go a period without water, right? And you don't need these things. Your mind is clear. You drink your drinks. You don't eat no food, right? What do a preacher do? He keep a little piece of fried chicken. That's what Honorable Elijah's mama said. You keep a little piece of fried chicken underneath his pulpit, right? He eat that, right? He eat little pieces of fried dough in the morning time. That's getting you. And then also the prayer, how does that go? I ask our Father for our daily bread, right? That's showing you as Honorable Elijah Muhammad put it, that's showing you a person who gets his physical food before his spiritual food, right? I ask our Father for our daily bread. And that's also showing doubt in Allah that you won't have no bread. You saying you think there ain't gonna be no bread? You think you can't you doubting the powers of Allah? Right? I'm not saying, don't get it wrong. I'm not saying sit at your home and you're gonna get some bread. I'm not saying that. But you're saying that you won't be able to go out and get your food, right? You be good. Oh, there ain't no food today? Okay. Fast. Ain't no food tomorrow? Fast 2 days, 3 days, however long you can go without hurting yourself, right? Our daily bread. So you gotta pray to Allah. Sit in your home, wait for a mystery God to bring you food, and right. And this also shows a person who don't have no faith, you don't trust Allah. He don't trust that these things are gonna happen. He don't trust that he don't have no faith enough in Allah to be like, okay, I'll always be good. I'll try my hardest. I'll go out and do these things and do for self. But I don't think that Allah is powerful enough to make sure that we're all going to have enough food on the earth. The earth produced so much food that it can't even feed everybody. It can feed the population on the earth 100-fold. The earth produced so much food that there's all types of food that goes to waste each year because it can't feed. There's so much food it can feed more than enough of us. So there's a whole bunch of food sitting on trees. It falls off the trees, goes back on the trees. That's how much food there is. So don't doubt that there's enough food on the earth. Don't say, oh, is there going to be enough bread for me today? Is there going to be enough water for me today? Shut your mouth and have faith in your God. But guess what? You can't have faith in your God because you praying to someone who's not your God. You praying to a mystery God and a spook God and laying in your house and asking why didn't it happen. Right? You don't even have faith in that. So why would you represent something you can't stand on? How can you bring something forth from a non-existent foundation, from a foundation which you think won't support you? Because it really won't support you. So if you can't have faith in it, you don't know anything about it, right? Because how can you even have faith in something if you don't know it? Oh, I don't know these things. I don't know anything. Well, how the fuck can you have faith in it? How can you bring something forth from it? You can't do for self. That's trapping you there. And I'll get into the next bill in a second. But let me keep going, right? You know, number 12, that's God on duty, FOI. That's God on post. That's being vigilant. You're not eating your food, you're being vigilant. Your mind is elevated. You studying the teachings, you keeping these things right and exact, word for word. Don't add anything to them, don't take anything away from them. You keeping them right and exact, and you going out protecting your community, protecting the black woman in your community, the children in your community. Also protecting your own children from what happens on in the media. They going online looking at these images, these false things, listening to this destructive poison, non-substance filled music. Only substance in it is foolishness and shit that's gonna drain your brain. Watching fucking porn on the internet, draining your brain, right? Distracting yourself, idol worshiping, right? Looking and putting a celebrity above yourself. Don't put no one above yourself. Just like I said, there's 1, 2. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, number 2, and number 1, the most honorable Master W.D. Farad Muhammad, to whom my praises due forever. Right? There's the 1 and the 2. Ain't no 3. Right? And everybody else is just your brother. And all these motherfuckers that you idol worshiping, whatever it may be, whether you a polytheist or whether you just looking on social media, you idol worshiping a materialistic lifestyle. You idol worshiping nothing but bullshit that's gonna rot your mind, leave you foolish and troublemaking. Right? But God on post, he's protecting his children. He protecting all the children in the community, making sure it's safe. Vigilance. Looking. Taking time to study the whole place. Not just taking one look and walking away. Being aware of all things, the entire circumference, knowledge, wisdom, understanding comes from that. When you have the understanding of the 1 and the 2, you don't try to put yourself as a 3. Nah, they above you, and you know your place. You're willing to die for your culture, and you die for your brothers and sisters, right? Always give everybody, no disrespect to nobody. Always give everybody proper recognition. There's guys that's high. Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he done all it. Mr. Louis Farrakhan did great things. He's not the 3. There's no 3. Understanding is what you have inside yourself. That's you understanding the fact that the black man is God. Your ways and actions are aligned, and now you're coming forth from yourself. You've elevated your mind. You was a Muslim at one point. Okay, that's submit to the will of Allah. Then Allah bless you with the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and now makes you into God, into self. You're not into the white man. You're not into his stuff. You're not into selling drugs. You're not into drinking liquor and eating pork. You into living the Eastern culture, East Asia. Don't eat pork. Eat the foods that come from himself. Eat the navy bean. Eat these things and live yourself out. Right? God on post. Making sure there ain't no drug sellers in the community. Making sure God on post. Vigilance. Paying attention to things. Knowledge, wisdom. Be quick to listen and slow to speak. Take your time in taking information so that what comes forth from that information is something that's thoroughly done and was properly planned out and will be pure, whole and pure, just like pure whole wheat bread that's been dried out. No such thing as stale bread. Bread don't get stale. You bake it again. Eat it. It's even better. Break it down. Put some water in it. Put some more yeast. Let it sour. Sourdough bread. Sourdough whole wheat bread. Black rye bread. Rye bread. Barley bread. All these wonderful things. Eat the good stuff. And eat your spiritual food before your physical food. Right? All right. Now that's God on post. Let's go to my next part, which is the 12th degree in the 1 through 40s. Right? The culture ciphers. For all the guys in the earth, the culture ciphers. What's the knowledge, wisdom, degree in the culture ciphers? And in the 1 through 40. That's number 12. Tell us why does the devil not teach that answer? Because he desires to make slaves that are all he can so that he can rob them and live in luxury. Why does the devil not teach that? Oh, sit at your home and wait for that mystery God to bring you food. Be submissive on your knees to a image of a white man. Idol worship a dead prophet, which is not even white, a false image of a dead prophet, right? Idol worship a white Jesus. Idol worship Jesus. Jesus was dead. Jesus was a failed prophet. He was sent to teach the Jews. Guess what? White people can't accept truth. White people can't accept Islam. So guess what? All the prophets and apostles of Allah showed and proved that, right? It can't be taught. He was taught because guess what? He was before his time, right? Devil don't teach that though. Guess what? He has us working as company, working at night and day. We working at a company for years, months, and days, right? Putting all these hours, like I said, years, months, and days, right? And now we uh we working for him years, months, and days. We've been building up this country, right? Doing all these things, right? Years, months, and days, and we have nothing for our own self. And now he says, go back there, nigga. Go back to your house. Oh, you're not happy? Go back to your house and pray for mystery God to bring you food, bring you what you want. You be satisfied, right? Being satisfied just like a dog hunting its owner's game, and then retrieving the dead birds in the game back to its owner, and then being then sitting and bootlicking and whimpering and crying at his owner's legs, and sitting at the table crying for your owner to give you something, and then being content with a little drop of piece of scrap of beef, scrap of meat fall on the ground, being content with that instead of leaving from your owner, who says you free, by the way, to go, but he don't make it that easy. He make us think that we need to be there, right? Instead of going and hunting your own game for yourself and feeding yourself, right? But that's how I see these things. And let me go back. I missed on something I want because before I do a video, the best thing what I do, right? And this is my advice to you, is to build on it by yourself. Study your degrees and then go out and teach, right? Okay, now let me go back to the knowledge, wisdom, or the knowledge, wisdom degree in the 1 through 10s, right? That also shows you, right? Take what comes from your own people. Let them teach you. Let the 5% teach you. Let the teachers of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad guide you, because he teaches us the correct understanding, not a misunderstanding. Because you can have a incorrect understanding, trick knowledge. Oh, I think this degree means that the black woman is God. What the fuck is that? That's some bullshit. That ain't true, right? You gonna misunderstand it. Oh, I think God is a mystery. Jesus gonna come back. He's sitting up there somewhere in space. I'm in the clouds, someplace on Earth. He's dead, right? But anyways, let me continue, right? So take what the 5% teach you instead of taking what the devils teach you, right? Take what comes from the original man, from self, instead of what the devils teach you, the colored man. Because guess what happens when we go amongst before we go amongst the white man or the Caucasian man or the white devil, right? Before we go amongst him, get well versed in the knowledge of your own self. Because what happens when we went amongst him, right? What happened to the 4.4 billion original people when they went amongst the color man, or the color man went amongst him, right? He made trouble amongst us. He tell lies, deceived us, tricked us, made troublemaking, all these different things. A troublemaker, right? And then he took 17 million of us and kept us deaf, dumb, and blind, and made us other than our own self, right? And used us and used our slave labor to build him and uphold one of the most powerful countries on the earth today, right? On the land of which he stole from the 2 million original red Indians, right? Understand these things. 1 + 2 = 3, right? Study your lessons. If you don't have lessons, I'll put the website below. You can find the lessons. And if you want to get in contact with me, I'll send you a Google Doc of the lessons, whatever it may be, right? But let me go to the knowledge, wisdom degree in the 1 through 40s, right? Now, going back to that, we working at them all these years, right? We don't have nothing for ourselves, being content with nothing, and now we sitting here producing nothing. We upholding his own country, right? And we doing all this work for him. And then what do? He tell us, oh, go out and pray. Be a slave in the worker fields. Let us mistreat you. Let us take everything. Because guess what? He don't teach us these things because he don't teach us to go amongst our own people, get the knowledge of self, and then go amongst them, because then we wouldn't uphold them, right? But he wants to make slaves that all he can, so he can rob them and live in luxury, right? He's being quick to look, listen, observe, and plot in his head, right? Oh, how am I gonna do this, right? Because now he's sitting in a millions of dollar house, eating luxury, high expensivest foods, wearing high expensivest clothing. He's living in luxury. He don't have to leave his house, right? But while you sitting in your home, you don't leave your house and go out and do for self. You won't leave the house of Israel. You won't leave the house of America, the belly of the beast, the house of Israel. You won't leave that. You being under bondage, trapped in there. And now, just like how you trapped inside your house, you pray. Not like how you supposed to. You pray on your knees. You look in the sky. You are scary and afraid, right? And you ask for bread, food, clothing, and shelter, and then you go right back to your factories, right? To companies, right? It's okay to get a job for a little bit, hold it down, do what you need to do. But this is taking your whole life, and you're not doing nothing. You're not doing what you need to do. You're not qualifying yourself. You're not doing your own due diligence, right? So now we going and we working for them, then we go home. We sit at home, ask for bread, food, clothing, and shelter from a mystery spook God. You're not praying correctly, right? You're praying to a dead prophet, Jesus, right? When you praying inside the church, that don't stop him nothing. None of your prayers are answered. That don't work. White man come in and firebomb and blow up and shoot up the whole church, lynch everybody, right? But while you sit in your house praying for these things, the devil, 10%ers, white man, he's sitting in his house in luxury. He don't have to leave because guess what? You working for him. He don't have to leave his house. He's sitting in his house all day. He kick back. He don't need food, clothing, and shelter because you giving it to him. He don't have to leave his house, but we got to leave our house, which is the house of Israel, right? Sit there, pray. Don't pray no mystery God, then leave and go out. Stand up on your square, your 24,000, and go out and do for self. Now, what's the 12th degree in the 1 through 36? The knowledge wisdom degree in the 1 through 36, that's number 12. Yes, sir, that makes him other than his own self. So the white man has made us other than our own self, right? Us liking his institutions and adopting what comes from him. Not taking what comes from our own people. This made us other than our own self. Yes, sir, that makes him other than his own self, right? What are these institutions? What are these devices that he gives us, right? What are these actions he gives us, right? Oh, mistreat the black woman. Take drugs, be high, right? Oh, drink it strong, intoxicating liquors. When you get you some money, go out and put it into my pockets, right? And if you can sustain yourself on sustaining me. Buy my expensive jewelry instead of buying your brothers and sisters some bread for them, right? All these things make us other than our own self, taking it from the colored man, right? And I always remember, right? Keep the teachings right and exact. Teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, right and exact, word for word. Don't add to them. Don't take anything away from them. And remember, there's only the one and the two. Number one, the most honorable Master W.D. Farad Muhammad, to whom all praises due forever, right? And then the number two, the honorable Elijah Muhammad, right? The messenger of Allah, right? No one did the work that these two done, and no one did work as honorable Elijah Muhammad did, and I know no one else did what the most honorable Master W.D. Farad Muhammad did. So show your respect. Sit down and don't put and remember, everyone else is just your brother. Treat them as such, not your father, right? Not the father of your civilization in your mind, not that, right? So always give respect. Always respect everyone. Respect everyone's understanding because everyone's gonna have a different understanding. So even if it's not the same as your understanding, respect them. They're your brothers. Yes, y'all both black. We all black. Islam, right? As long as they ain't not hurting nobody, not deceiving nobody, respect them, right? They're going to do what they're going to do, right? But always give credit where credit is due. Recognize and always know the works of our brothers and our sisters and be quick to listen and slow to speak. Peace.